naturally or how to speak properly in front of the public. Now, we were going to talk about Dyadic communication. You have infused what is Dyadic communication? No? Do you really want to know about Dyadic communication? Well, let's first talk about Dyadic communication. When you talk about Dyadic communication, it is the process of interchanging messages between speaker and receiver. And this communication can take place by face-to-face encounter. For example, you meet your friend right there, then you talk with him. So that is Dyadic communication. And also, it can also be performed in cell phone. What if you talk with your friend on the phone? Hi guys, or something like that, huh? And this can also take place in any devices. As long as you are interchanging messages, there are feedback, there are sending messages. So that is Dyadic communication. Before we move on to the topic, I have here a book talking about speak right, make a difference in oral communication context. So in this book, you will learn about how to speak right, the different kinds of communication. You can see it at the library of Bolton. So let's talk about Dyadic communication. When we talk about Dyadic communication, it has three forms. It is the conversation, dialogue, and interview. So first is the conversation. When we talk about conversation, it is an informal form of Dyadic communication. It is a face-to-face encounter between the two participants, using verbal and non-verbal symbols. From conversation comes a good interrelation between you and your receiver, or the person you are talking to. And also, a good conversation will be enjoyable and informative, and a bad one will be boredom. So before we proceed to the guidelines of a good conversation, I will show you a video that talks about conversation. So here it is.
Hello guys! How was your day? How was the exam? You know, I felt very hard. How about you?
Yeah, we're fine.
Well, talking about exams, it's quite hard, but we're done. Well, good to know. Well, let's hope for a better result. So, but by the way, I've got to go. I have something to do. Okay, bye!
Bye.
So that is an example of conversation. Now, let's go to the guidelines of a good conversation. So here are the guidelines for a good conversation. To be a good conversationalist is not a tall order. You only need awareness of others and of yourself. So let's go first to the awareness of others. First is you have to assert the 1 minute rule. Do not talk too much, too often, and too long. Beware of others who are waiting for their turn to talk. Second is seek topics of mutual interest. You will have a lively conversation if both of you are interested in the topic. Initially, a topic of common interest may be hard to find, but somehow a common area of interest will spring out. Next is, listen to what the other person has to say. Listening is as important as speaking. If no one listens, what will happen to the communication process? Next, ask questions. Asking questions is one way of gauging if you are listening and are interested in what the other people is saying. This may, in turn, encourage the speaker to go on. Now, let's go to the awareness of yourself. Be tactful and courteous. Avoid bodily gestures that would show lack of interest. A yawn, a faraway blank look, total silence, constantly looking at your timepiece, and a remark or question that is totally out of the topic are signs of lack of interest that amount to discourtesy and lack of tact. Next is, you have to impress sincere compliments. Sincere compliments beget goodwill and favorable attitude that would lead to a smooth, enjoyable conversation. Do not step on somebody's toe. Avoid thoughtless remarks that hurt, provoke or degrade someone, or nasty jokes at the expense of somebody else. These are stumbling blocks of effective conversation. The last one is do not argue. If the topic you happen to touch is controversial, try something neutral or not controversial. So we're done with the guidelines for conversation. Now let's move on to the second one, which is dialogue. So before that, I will show you a video about dialogue.
My God! What am I going to do? The deadline for our project will be tomorrow. Hi, Julie. What are you doing here? Why are you alone? Do you have any problem? Therefore, I was frustrated. I was able to do it last week, but the committee master came, so I planned to do it Sunday. Then, but days passed because of so many things I've been through. I already forgot my project. Do you need some help? What can you help? Really? Are you going to help me? Yes, of course. Okay, my suggestion is we will take pictures for the guidelines for Dyadic communication. Isn't it great? Why not take some pictures in the internet that corresponds to the guidelines? You're right. It's more suitable and easy because the deadline will be tomorrow. We will not be afraid. We will take a picture normal or so no more problem. Thank you, guys. So let's start. Start.
So that is a sample video of dialogue. So here are the guidelines for the dialogue. A dialogue is another form of dyadic communication involving two active participants, or two groups interacting alternately in a face-to-face encounter as sender or a receiver of the message. A dialogue is a planned conversation, not spontaneous, and there's a problem to be solved. So first is we have to identify the problem. Participants must not only agree that there is a problem but also to know what the problem is. State the problem clearly in defined terms to avoid any misunderstanding. Next is analyze the problem. Instruct participants to ask questions about the problem like how long has it been, what was the cause, what steps have been taken to solve it. Next is to generate creative solutions. Brainstorm for solutions individually or by groups. Accept all ideas, relevant or irrelevant. Afterwards, select only the workable solutions. Now, the next one is select the best solution. Rank or rate the solutions, agree on the ranking or rating. And if by vote, the majority wins. By consensus, all must agree. Or by decision of an expert, all agrees. And the last one is take action. Ask, will this work? Try out the solution. If it is successful, adopt it. If a failure, go back to step 1. So before we proceed to the guidelines for the interviewee and the interviewer, I will show you a video again about interview.
Secretary, call the interviewee. Yes, ma'am. Interviewee. Good morning. Okay, so Mrs. Corba, what is your purpose of applying in our company?
First, ma'am, I need a job and I want to be part of the success of this company and I want to experience more about this job.
Good. And what are your edge among the others?
I can do everything, ma'am. I am a hardworking person and I have experience, if you may ask, and I work for 3 years for the bigger companies like this.
In an interview, there are two participants which we call interviewer and interviewee. And the failure or the success of the interview lies in the both of them. So here are the guidelines for conducting an interview. Let's go first to the interviewer. A skillful interviewer plans his interview carefully and takes into consideration the following. First, the interview should have a definite purpose. Second, the interview questions should not suit the purpose of the interview and interviewer's personality and status. Third one is, the interviewer's convenience and comfort should be taken into consideration in setting the time and the place of interview. Now, let's move on to the interviewee. The interviewee should likewise prepare for the interview if he wants to contribute substantially to the success of the interview. He should know the purpose of the interview except in cases where the purpose is obvious, as in interviews related to jobs, scholarships, or loans. Next is, he should know the scope and limitation of the interview, the kinds of information he is expected to give. He should be prepared to present such information, perhaps with visual aids. And the last one is, he should be open-minded, cooperative, helpful, and friendly. Regardless of the purpose, the interviewee should not be defensive, hostile, and evasive in answering questions because the interviewer may get an unfavorable impression. So those are the guidelines of different forms of communication, the conversation, dialogue, and interview. So have you learned something about today? So thank you for watching, guys. Hope you subscribe and watch all of my videos. So goodbye!
It's the dream. Because of so many things I've been through, I was able to forget. You're right. It's more easy and oh, namuka sa ako. Oh, hello there.
Yeah, we're fine.
Well, talking about exams, it's very hard, but we're done.
Keep it on.